Hello, this is the Meta Man with maybe the most important video I've ever done because I'm going to give you a giant expose about Ripple. Ripple is the name of the company and XRP is the name of the coin. And it's number 6 already, and it's going to, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you the news. The news is gigantic.
Tomato Man rocks!
First of all, you need to understand that banks around the world use a system for interbank transfer, especially across borders. And that's very difficult to do because currencies have exchange rates. The exchange rates are changing all of the time. But even more important, some currencies are big and accepted, like the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the pound sterling, whereas some currencies are not very well accepted or have restrictions as to whether they can cross borders. And yet the banking system called SWIFT, SWIFT, is the way that all banks use in order to transfer money between banks and between other major institutions like stock exchanges and such. However, that's being challenged. Why? Because SWIFT is an antiquated system that takes a long time, and though it is totally reliable, but it takes a long time and costs a lot of money. But Ripple has a system based on blockchain technology that takes very, very little time and costs 90% less with exactly the same level of security and accuracy. 90% less, and the banks are taking notice. For example, the Canadian Bank, the largest bank in Canada, it's called CIBC, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, has just signed a long-term contract with Ripple in order for it to do its transactions around the world. That is gigantic. Also, there are 4 major banks in Australia. The 4 largest banks in Australia have made a contract with CIBC to jointly get together and use Ripple. Ripple is almost worldwide now. It is almost worldwide. Swift has been around for a long time and it is already worldwide, but the inroads that Ripple is making is amazing. But listen to this is even more amazing. These banks, these giant 4 major banks in Australia and the biggest bank in Canada, they've made long-term contracts with Ripple, even though the Securities Exchange Commission, the major government regulatory body in the United States, even though the Securities and Exchange Commission is still suing Ripple. And yet the bank in Canada doesn't seem to care. The 4 biggest banks in Australia don't seem to care. Other banks around the world don't care because it seems obvious that Ripple is going to win. This is even more evidence that Ripple is going to win because these banks would never sign an agreement, a long-term contract with an organization that could be in dire trouble if SEC wins. Wow. So let me tell you some more fundamental analysis. This just in, Wells Fargo, a major US bank, has just signed a contract with, guess what, Ripple, in order to replace Swift so that they don't have to use Swift any longer and they'll be using blockchain technology through Ripple. Now, let's look at the technical analysis to see if this is a good time to buy. The first thing to notice is that 8 years ago, XRP had a low of $0.0026. What that is a quarter of a penny. A quarter of a penny was its low. And you can see that in 2018, it shot up to $3.40. That's a gigantic differential. And then it did basically nothing till 2021 when it shot up to almost $2. And now it has just been consolidating. It hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone down. It's in a tight tunnel and it's just waiting. What's it waiting for? You know what it's waiting for. It's waiting for the darn SEC lawsuit to be settled. And it looks like that's going to happen soon. And as I predicted before on other XRP videos, what I predicted is that SEC can't lose face, so it can't lose. What it'll do when it realizes it's going to lose is it'll do an out of court settlement, and they'll put a gag order on it so nobody can tell what happened. And they'll slap a small fine on XRP to save face. And then XRP can go on life as normal, except you can expect that more banks will want to deal with them when the SEC lawsuit is over, because there'll be no cloud hanging over the head. And guess what will happen to the price? This is education and entertainment. It is not investment advice. But, if SEC lawsuit is settled in XRP's favor, in Ripple's favor, then my gosh, you can expect a giant increase. Now, I've got a funny statement. I think it could go up 10x, 20x. If it goes up 20x, it'll flippin' Bitcoin. XRP could be the biggest coin by market cap, even bigger than Ethereum and Bitcoin. Why? How can that be? The answer is that if all the banks in the world get behind Ripple instead of getting behind Swift, then there's hundreds of billions, there's trillions, there's quadrillions of dollars that is going to be transferred between all kinds of major financial institutions, including banks. And at that point, a little bit of that will be taken off by Ripple as its fee. And that could be so huge that the market cap of the company Ripple and the coin XRP could be so large that it could be larger than Mr. Bitcoin. Wow, wow, wow. So is this a good time to buy? Yeah, if you're a bit of a gambler, it's a good time, because it depends on whether the banks will actually keep moving away from Swift and onto Ripple. And it'll also depend on the SEC lawsuit being settled in Ripple's favor, or at least not much of a penalty to it. So if both of those things come to pass, you can expect, in my opinion, a huge, huge increase. It's right now at 85 cents, and it could easily go back up to 340. It could easily go up to 10 or 20 or $50. It's a giant coin. It's one of my favorites. It is my largest holding. If you look at all my coins in terms of how much money I have invested in them, XRP is my largest, because I think the SEC lawsuit will be settled in XRP's favor. And I think that the movement away from Swift and towards Ripple will continue, because it's 90% less expensive with exactly the same accuracy. Wow, wow, wow. My money and my mouth are behind XRP. You make your own decision. You are now far wiser than you were just a few minutes ago. And even more important, I love you. Oh, heck, I have to add this, even though you've heard it, but maybe you haven't done it yet. You need to subscribe to this channel so that YouTube and Google know that it's a worthy channel. You need to like this video so that YouTube and Google know that this is a worthy video. And you need to comment below so that YouTube and Google know that there's a lot of engagement. And you need to share it with friends so that they can learn too. I love you. I love you. Please click on Meta in order to subscribe to my channel. And please click on this video, which is my most recent video, my previous one. And please click on that video, which Google and YouTube think is the most appropriate if you enjoyed this video.